So one of the most useful things about the pump is it's used for project management. And one of the tools that we can use for project management is down here in the programs management. So if you're trying to manage your whole program at one time, you can take a look at what we call the pipeline. So if we click on that, you can see some filters here. One that we're going to look at is the division and group. So if you select this and then go down and select your country program, you can see all of the projects in that country program. So if we select Tanzania and show the pipeline, there's a few different things that you'll see. One is if you have Power BI access, you can use this link to view financials, the active projects or the transition projects. Also down here you'll see our project flow, and you'll see projects that are in black, which means that they are active, and projects that are in orange, which just means that they've been paused. It really doesn't do anything other than just indicates that for some reason those projects are paused. And in the project flow, there's some basic elements here. The first one is project request, and so these are for projects that go through the initial request project with our standard forms and are here before they can move to the assessment. There's a set of items that need to be completed within the project, and there's a barrier between each of these elements and each of these phases as they go from request through to assessment, design, funding, implementation, follow-up, and finally transitioned or completed. So if we take a look at one of these projects, for example, we can go to Matt Yazzo again. Here it is, Matt Yazzo, it's the follow-up. One of the things that we can see is going into the approvals page, we can see that same project flow where it talks about assessment, design, engineering support, review, funding, implementation. As it goes through this flow vertically, the project pipeline will go horizontally. And over on the right, you can see the items that are needed to pass it from one to the next. So the very last thing that's needed to happen before transition is these orange items on the right need to be completed. So that means that there needs to be a wash training for submitted and uploaded through the pump, through our upload system. Something else that can be helpful for project management is if you take a look on that right toolbar, you can see things in relation to the budget and the timeline. So again, if we look at some of these project status in the general informations tab, it'll take us to this, and you can kind of see the project status as it moved from assessment into approval, community mobilization, some of the items and when those happened. Here's a list of the dates of when each of these forms were uploaded to the pump, and as it makes its way through follow-up, now we're into the follow-up phase where we should be expecting first follow-up, second follow-up, and for these to be filled out with their dates as the follow-up forms are submitted. From a budget standpoint, if I go down into project control, there's a link that will take me to an outside app called Power BI, and you can get there through scheduling cost to complete. As I select that one, it will take me to this outside Power BI, and if you have access to it, it will ask you to log in, and then we'll bring you to the site which shows you the finances for that project. If you don't have access to Power BI, which not everyone does, then it means that you're probably just not set up for the project management role. So that's basically it for the project management. One of the biggest things is, again, if you go to the programs management and see this pipeline, click on Tanzania or whatever country you're working with. Show the pipeline. And the hope is to get through request, assessment, design the whole way through, so the project goes through all of these phases and ends up complete on the other side.